Hello everyone, and welcome to my book haul / most of the books that I bought during my reading slump. And I say most because I quickly realized that I was excessively buying books that I was not interested in. I had to unhaul quite a few books. It's just going to the bookstore and being around books makes me happy. Buying books makes me happy. And obviously when you're in a reading slump, you're not really in that good of a mood. Being in a bad mood plus going to a bookstore, kind of see where the problem comes in. So like I said, I did unhaul several of the books that I bought. However, I still have quite a few here. I'm not going to spend too much time on one specific book whatsoever. I'm not going to go deep into the synopsis at all. I just kind of want to show you guys what I've gotten over these few months. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this little book haul, or big book haul. Two of these books that I have here were gifted to me by my friend Karina, so I think I just want to start with those first. This first book that I am going to show you is probably the #1 book I am excited about in this entire book haul, and that is Shiver by Junji Ito. If you don't know who Junji Ito is, he is a horror manga writer, and I've heard nothing but great things about him. I heard he's so creative, that the stories he comes up with is just out of this world. I've wanted a book by Junji Ito for so long. They're just so expensive to me. And also I've just never gotten around to buying a book by him, but luckily I have one now. I am so grateful to finally have a book by him. I cannot wait to read this and just share my thoughts with everyone. The other book she got me is Flux by Ryan Corlotto, I believe it's pronounced. This is a poetry book based around the grief and healing of a heartbreak. And honestly, I've read some of it already. This has to be my favorite poetry book in the entire world. I don't think I have read any type of poetry book that has actually like made me feel something. I didn't finish reading it, but I definitely plan on finishing it because it is just that good. If you're looking for a poetry book, even if you're not heartbroken or dealt with heartbreak or anything like that, I highly suggest you pick this one up because it's definitely a different experience. Again, thank you Karina so much for giving me those books. You absolutely did not have to, but I'm so grateful. Kind of sticking to the poetry theme, I had Flower Crowns and Fearsome Things by Amanda Lovelace. I have only read a few poems out of this one. It's definitely good. In the beginning of the book, it gives you trigger warnings. It says, this book contains sensitive material relating to intimate partner abuse, sexual assault, cheating, child abuse, trauma, death, violence, misogyny, body image, eating disorder, alcohol, fire, and possibly more. I think it does a good job of taking care of the sensitive material that it does mention in here. So again, this is another poetry book that I really do recommend. The next book I have is The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I listened to this audiobook. I just wanted to have the physical copy, and I was waiting until I can find this specific one because this cover and the way it looks is just so aesthetically pleasing to me. So that is why I picked this one up. The next one I have is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me by Rosemary, Valero O'Connell. This is just about two girls that are dating and are in a very toxic relationship, and how the main character Freddie kind of learns self-love, positivity, and how to get out of that toxic situation. Next I have Attached by Amir, Levine, and Rachel Heller, and this is just a book that kind of helps people understand what their attachment styles are and how to navigate those attachment styles. I've heard a lot of people recommend this book, and once you read this book, you'll have a way better understanding of your attachment style and how to deal with other attachment styles. I am very excited to read this. I think I need a better understanding of what my attachment style is, so very excited to read this one. Under the Whispering Door by TJ Clune. Now, I don't know anything about what this book is. I just know that I am currently reading House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Clune, and I absolutely love it. So I have no doubt that I will love this one as well. All right, so if anybody knows me, they know I'm kind of a Grinch, and I don't really like Christmas that much. But I did pick up In the Holidays by Christina Lauren because it includes like the trope where, you know, the main character relives the same day over and over and over again, and I really love like books and movies like that, so that is why I picked this one up. I've heard a lot of people talk about this one. I think this book came out last year, I can't remember, but I've heard so many people talk about it. With this month being like, you know, the Christmassy month and stuff like that, I think this might be a book I want to pick up, so we will see. All right, so the next one I picked up is one I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, and that is The Only Good Indian by Stephen Graham Jones. I think this is just like a horror story following, it says The Only Good Indians follows 4 American Indian men after a disturbing event from their youth puts them in a desperate struggle of their lives. So I think this involves like some type of entity that's like stalking them and stuff like that. So I'm interested in books like this. I don't really read horror books that much, but I'm trying to get more into them. That is why I picked this one up. All right, so I have Kingdom of the Curse by Kerry Monistalco. This is book number 2 from Kingdom of the Wicked. And what Kingdom of the Wicked is about is this witch whose sister gets murdered. So she summons one of the princes of hell, which is Wrath, and she uses him to help find who killed her sister. And there's a little bit of romance, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of mischief in it, so it's a really good book. I really enjoyed it, so I'm hoping I will enjoy this one just as much. The next book I have is Summer Bird Blue by Akemi Dawn Bowman. If you don't know, Akemi Dawn Bowman is the author of my favorite book in the entire world, which is Starfish. So I have yet to read any other work by her, so that is why I picked this one up. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Don't know what this one is about. I know she is the author of Beach Read, which was very popular, so I don't think I was really interested in what Beach Read was about. Therefore, I picked this one up, and hopefully I'll like it because I am planning on reading it this month, so we will see. All right, so the next book I have is Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. This is just about a girl who has HIV but is now at a new school, dating this boy and everything like that. But she starts getting these anonymous letters threatening to out her secret if she doesn't break up with her boyfriend. So I have been eyeing this book for a very long time. Again, this is another book I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but this is just something that I have been wanting to read for a very long time. All right, I have Defy the Night by Bridget Kimmer. I hope I pronounced her last name right, but this is another book that I know nothing about. I just know that she is the author of the Cursebreaker series, which is a series that I finished this year and loved so much. This is a book that she released this year, so her being an author that I loved, I decided to pick it up. Moving on, this book is also another book that I'm really excited to have, and that is Death by Laura Thelassa. This is unfortunately the last book of the Four Horsemen series, and if you have not read the Four Horsemen series, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know why you haven't done it, but I highly suggest you go order it right now. These books are so good. You don't have to read them in order or anything like that. It is a series, but they can definitely be read as standalones, which is also really good. But yes, I am very happy to have this one, and I plan on reading this one very, very soon. So these next 2 books that I have, they're by different authors, but the idea behind the books are kind of the same. They deal with like loss, grief, love, mental illness, and that is How It Feels to Float by Helena Fox and Me Moth by Amber McBride. I got How It Feels to Float because randomly I was like scrolling on Amazon and it just popped up, and I read the synopsis and I was really interested in it. And then Me Moth I picked up because I seen it at Barnes & Noble, and I like skimmed through it and saw that it was told in verse as well as, you know, what it's about. So definitely made me very intrigued to read it because I have been wanting to pick up a book that's told in verse. Okay, so this next book I got is humongous, and it is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I don't know what this is about. I've never read anything by Jay Kristoff. I don't know how he is as an author or how his writing style is or anything like that. But I do know a lot of people enjoy this book a lot. And not only that, I've kind of been on my little vampire kick lately. So that is definitely why I picked this one up. I don't know when I'm going to get to this one, but I hope it's soon because I am very interested to read it. I kind of want to see what it's about. All right, thankfully, we are down to the last 2 books. This next one that I have is The Witch's Heart by Genevieve something. I don't want to mispronounce the last name. All I know about this book is that there's a witch and she falls in love with Loki. On the front it says, men die, gods die, she lives on. Last but not least, I have The Plot by Jean Hanff Cortlets. This book is about a teacher who has a student that is writing an amazing book. Years later, I'm not sure if it's years later really, but this teacher is expecting this book to be published or for him to see this book everywhere. However, he doesn't. Then later on, he discovers that the student had passed away. So what the teacher decides to do is take the idea of the story into his own hands, and he becomes this very popular, very well-loved writer because he's stolen this student's plot. Then he starts to get these anonymous letters saying, I know what you did, and I hope that kind of gets the idea of the book across. But I don't know, I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this one. It is blurbed on the back by Stephen King, and he says the plot is one of the best novels I've ever read about writers and writing. So I'm very interested in reading this one. I think it might be a really good book, but yeah, we will see. All right, and I did want to talk about 2 other books that I have on order that just aren't here yet. First one is a graphic novel, Lore Olympus by Rachel Smith. This used to be a webtoon, and I did read the webtoon like a long time ago, but finally it's being adapted into a book or a graphic novel, whatever. I have the first one ordered. I heard a lot of people that have read it said they really loved it. I know I really loved the webtoon, so I decided to pick up the physical copy of it. And the second book that I have on order is All Roads Lead Here by Mariana Zapata. I started reading this book on my Kindle and I absolutely love it. I think I'm only like 3 chapters in, but I know for a fact this is a book that I need a physical copy of, because so far I have been annotating it in my Kindle, which is kind of difficult. So I want the physical copy so I can annotate the physical copy. So that is the other book that I have on order that should be here very soon. All right, guys, so that brings me to the end of my book haul slash most of the books that I accumulated during my reading slump. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you later.